Krishnamurti often talks about what is called separative consciousness. And this separative consciousness as the source of division between man, and he gives the impression that separative consciousness should end, and this separative consciousness should become one with universal consciousness. This actually is the point that Advaita also makes, and Krishnamurti continues this. But now I am questioning whether Krishnamurti has understood the need, the inevitability, or the functionality of this separative consciousness. Separative consciousness. Separative consciousness means an individual feels separate. He only feels the pain of his mind or his body. But of course, he can feel compassionate towards others. He can feel sympathetic. But essentially, he feels he is a separate. This is what separative consciousness is. Okay, he feels it is me, my pain, my mind, my achievement. This is what separative consciousness is as compared to others. Okay. What is the need for this separative consciousness? I would say separative consciousness enables individual safety as well as group safety, and so safety of mankind. Only when individuals are separated, they can explore separately, they can experiment separately, and they can fail, they can lose, they can die. So, it is through separation all are living together. This man learns from the experience of this man, and if this man fails, he will die and he will live. So, through separative consciousness, all are living together. So, separative consciousness is functional for group, functional for human beings, for mankind. In fact, I am only extending my argument of the need for me, ego, I, to what is called separative consciousness, because all are related. Okay. Just to give a dramatic instance of what happens when there is no separation, take for example these twins, conjoined twins. These babies are born physically connected to each other, sharing the same destiny, combined, co-joined. And doctors usually separate. And many die, but some survive. Okay. So essentially, why do they separate? Because through separation, the chances of life of each one is improved. Because they can face life separately. And of course, sometimes co-joined twins lived long. For example, this one. These two from Minnesota, Abba and Brittany, graduated in 2012. These were grown up. They couldn't be separated. But definitely, which is more convenient way to live? One life and not together. So, by being separate, the survival of each one is improved. Okay. And which means separative consciousness. And now pay attention to consciousness. Consciousness, to make it easier to visualize, is consciousness something what we do not have in deep sleep. We do not have it in deep sleep. So, and otherwise it is there all through. Consciousness is nothing but awareness. Awareness of mind, body, and other things. So, we have, each one has more awareness of body and mind, and also feels separated, because the pain of his body only will affect him rather than the pain of the other, except through sympathy and compassion. So essentially, the separative consciousness enables each one to face life independently, to experiment, to live and to work out and die or live, so that on the whole, group has a higher chances of living. Whereas in Krishnamurti's philosophy, if you don't feel separative consciousness and if you feel all connected, then he thinks it will create a compassionate society, because you are not separated. But I think it is a completely misplaced argument. All are connected either psychologically or physically, then do you know what happens? They won't, each one can't move. If as Krishnamurti says, if this man's death is your death, if this man's pain is your pain, do you know what happens? It leads to, I would say, collective suicide, not a compassionate world. And if there is a way by which the separative consciousness can be taken, do you know, that amounts to mass murder. So, separative consciousness is the basis of life. But Krishnamurti says, you should realize you are the world. End of separation. End of separation. So I would say, and you should feel you are one. Somebody's death as your own, like that. Somebody's pain as your own. I would say This is an extremely misleading, ill-conceived worldview. The better world is some more compassion, which is actually there, is needed, and not the idea that you are not separate. So I would say you are the world is simply nonsense. Though K-readers are inspired and ignited and hypnotized by this "you are the world" slogan, which otherwise is simply nonsense.